I like to work with people who aren't hurt or take it the wrong way when you say, let's not do that. If both people are able to speak freely without fear of persecution, then you can get a lot more done and you can try a lot more things. And music is when you feel safe to just write something that sucks. My name's Andrew Wyatt, and I'm a producer and a songwriter and singer. And I'm here in London doing a bunch of projects at the Red Bull Studios. Today, I met my friend and sometime collaborator, Mark Ronson, in the studio, and we worked on a bunch of things. He had some things he wanted me to help him with, and I had some things I wanted him to help me with.
Andrew has been so busy with his own band Mike Snow that, you know, it's rare that we've had a chance to get in the studio together like we usually do. So we're working on a remix for Depeche Mode, a remix of Personal Jesus.
We decided to start with something that was a little bit, maybe a lyric that people wouldn't automatically know it was that song, and change it in some way so that it felt novel or at least somewhat confusing or distracting.
I will deliver, you know, I'm a forgiver.
That's the line we should take. Let's take that and pitch it up. And then try to create some tension before bringing in the moment in the song where everybody's gonna know what song it is.
Need to confess, I will deliver, you know, I'm a forgiver.
Woo, sounds dope. It sounds like Anthony.
I think I met Andrew back in New York in probably like 2005. He was a really good friend of a friend of mine. We had so many things in common. Like, I think the thing that Andrew and I get on, we seem to like all the same stuff. Not only being one of my really closest friends, I'm a huge fan of him. He's an annoyingly huge talent. He can kind of play everything. He can sing beautifully. It's almost unfair.
My mom asked me if I wanted to get a used car for my 17th birthday. I actually told her to get me, I got an 8-track cassette player. I didn't know anything about production, and so I got all those remastered Beatles albums on CD in the 90s. Got those, and I got all of Prince's records, and I started listening to production on that.
I decided that I wanted to be a producer. Basically, I was really into hip-hop, so all my favorite producers, this is like the mid-90s, were people like DJ Premier from Gangstar and the RZA and the Bomb Squad. So production to me meant making a beat. It didn't mean like George Martin in a studio putting up microphones and learning how to mic a drum kit. And then I slowly learnt the rest of it just from hands-on learning, assisting, whatever. Those are the things that help you pick it up.
And then you do, I will deliver, you know, I'm a forgiver, with that weird vocal effect on it. And then you do a drop, reach out, touch faith, boom, kabboom.
Yeah,
That'll be sick.
Sick, bro.
We do a lot of things together, me and Mark. We like to ride bikes together. We go shopping for produce at the farmer's market. I'm just kidding. But we do a lot of music together in the studio, and he's one of those people that, I don't know why, but there's sort of like a, you know, telepathic thing going on. You never even scratch your head for a second to think about what you should do next. It just kind of was always obvious. Quincy Jones used to say this thing about like leaving space for something that has nothing to do with you to make the song good, because it doesn't really have anything to do with you. It makes the song good. So I think Mark understands that.
It's so evil.
Right? The longest I spent nonstop was I was mixing a record, and I was going to do a tour in France. I knew if I went to France before I finished mixing this record, I wasn't going to meet the release date for this album, so I stayed up for 3 straight days. And I started hallucinating on the 3rd day. And it was kind of nice because I was in this like very hallucinogenic friendly studio, and like there's all these like psychedelic murals on the walls. Keep the known vocal part with the be your own, like the, you know, the Depeche Mode sounding part to the end, you know?
Okay.
And like start with the falsetto thing
Yeah.
and like have this weird effect on it. So
That
it's
is
like,
really
what the
cool.
fuck is
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
It's
totally.
like, but it is actually Dave
Yeah,
singing.
yeah.
So, do I get writer's block anymore? No, I don't. I used to, but I think that my mind has so many like unfinished things in it that if one thing isn't going well, or if I can't think of something for that thing that's in my mind, I go to another part of my mind and I work on that thing. I think that that has something to do with having been through multiple cycles of having writer's block and wondering about what it is and realizing that it just boils down to fear. There's absolutely no reason why I think you need to feel like you have to be even feel like doing music all the time, you know? If you don't feel like it, then just take a walk or something. When I'm walking around, this is what happens, is when I'll just be walking around and I'll just sort of drift away and start doing something else with my mind, and then I just record it, and then I try to go back and figure it out, what I was doing later. And it works about 40% of the time. I often forget to tell myself what the tempo is or like where the downbeat is. So a lot of times I listen back to the song and I don't know where it starts or where it ends, you know?
Production is my day job. There's long, long hours you're in the studio. Can't always guarantee there's going to be something good, but for those moments when you do create something that makes you so excited, it's completely worth it.
I want to leave you know I'm a forgiver.
1, 2, 3, 4, reach out, touch faith. That's gonna be dope. The thing about remixing Personal Jesus is that like you feel that if you don't do a good job with it, you're gonna be personally crucified. You know, as with anything, it's like really not up to you how it turns out.
He's got a great mind for harmony and melody as well, so even though it's a remix, you're still putting in chords and trying to change the tonal structure of the song.
I want to leave you know I'm a forgiver. I want to leave you know I'm a forgiver. I want to leave you know I'm a forgiver.
It's hard because it's just, you have to admit at some point in your head you're not trying to better it because you can't. I'm going to leave Andrew here to finish it. I basically helped him come up with like a chord progression, and then he's going to take it to town. And then hopefully we're going to get into get Nick Rhodes in the studio tomorrow and put some 80s magic on it.
I think it's important to keep interested and keep humble and to stay a fan, you know, to have new music that's coming out that you really feel like it makes you feel like shit to hear it because you feel like it's so much more progressive than you. I want to stay curious my whole life, and you know, it's hard, but it's rewarding as well.